Hey guys, a while ago Chris RC28 and me collaborated on a cover of Metallica's Wherever I May Roam. Since Chris and his viewers liked how I mixed his drums, I offered to continue mixing his tracks for future videos. I've seen some comments on the drum sound and how to get an EZD10 to sound like that, so I thought I'd do a tutorial on how I approach a mix for Chris. But before we start, this is not a video about the EZD10 or how to dial it in. Everything in this video is about how to process a track from an EZD10 or any other single track drum recording. There's gonna be a few steps to this, so I'm gonna add timestamps for each step in the description box down below. With all that said, let's start. I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but it's kinda important anyway. So how we usually do this is Chris tells me what song he wants to do, I prepare a track for him, he records his track, and then I mix everything down to a final mix. I tell you this because I noticed that some drumless tracks or stems you can find on the internet don't match the album versions. The tracks are fine, they just vary on time and speed, and that can mess up everything if you recorded your track to the album version and try to combine it with the drumless track. If you're interested in the whole preparation process, let me know down in the comments. Alright, so I got all my tracks imported to Cubase. The purple track is the drum track I got from Chris. The tracks in green are the stems of the backing track. I'm gonna play a small section of the song so you can hear how it sounds before we do anything.
To provoke her, rattling of a tale, never begins it, never once engaged, never surrenders, showing the veins of rage. Send up from me.
At this point it sounds pretty raw, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna change that. As you can see, I only have a single track of the complete drum kit. To get a good sounding drum mix, I need to split up the track into individual tracks for each part of the kit. To do that, I'm gonna use the website music.ai. It's a pretty powerful tool that can do a lot of things, but for this video I'm only gonna get into how I use it to split up the drum track. I'm gonna build the workflow from scratch so you can follow along. The first thing I'm gonna do is click on New Workflow in the top right corner. This window with a lot of templates will pop up, but I'm gonna close it because we don't need it now. The next thing I'm gonna do is head to the left side of the screen and choose Stem Separation. I'm gonna pick the drum stem module and place it between the input and output module. Then I'm gonna connect the output of the input module to the input of the drum stem module. Next I'm gonna add some outputs and rename them after the stems in the stem module. Now I'm gonna connect all the outputs from the drum stems to our output module. Now I have my workflow completed and all I need to do is load the track I want to separate. To load the track, I'm gonna click the arrow in the top right corner and choose the track I want to use. Once the track is loaded, I'm just gonna click the Try Workflow button and let it do its thing. Once it's done, you can download each track by its own or download all tracks as a zip file. I'm not gonna do that right now because I already have all the tracks. Okay, back in Cubase I already imported the split up drum tracks. I also copied the original track and put a low cut filter on it because I'm gonna use it as the overhead track. To save time, I prepared a quick mix to compare to the unprocessed drums. This is how the unprocessed drums sound like. And this is how they sound after processing. As you can hear, the sound improved a lot, and for some projects that might be good enough already. But with a few steps more it can sound even better. To get the best possible sound for the mix, I'm gonna sample replace the kick, snare and tom track. To do that, I need to detect the hit points and extract the MIDI track for each track. To detect the hit points, I'm going to open the sample editor with a double click on the track. On the left side of the screen, I'm gonna click on Hitpoint. After that, a lot of lines will appear on my track. Each line represents a trigger point. I'm going to zoom in on the track to see if all the hit points are set correctly. If all the hits are correct, I'm gonna click on Create MIDI Notes. I'm gonna choose Dynamic Hit, New MIDI Track, and hit OK. Then I'm gonna close the sample editor window. I'm gonna rename the new MIDI track and activate the general MIDI map. Then I'm gonna double click on the track to open the drum editor. I'm gonna select all MIDI notes and move them to the right key. Then I'm gonna close the drum editor. After that, I'm gonna repeat this step for the other two tracks as well. I imported the MIDI track for the toms from the original mix to save time. The reason for this is that the tom track needs to be edited, moving hits to different toms and adding hits when more toms are hit at the same time. The track I extracted is just my guideline for the hits. I move and add hits according to a video I get from Chris to make sure the used toms are the same as in the video. To show you what I mean, I'm gonna open both tracks in the editor and compare them. As you can see on the extracted track, all hits are in the same row. On the imported track, the hits are in different rows and doubled in some places. Now that I have my MIDI tracks, I can move to the next step. I'm gonna create a new instrument track and load up EZDrummer. Then I'm gonna select a preset depending on the sound I'm after. In this case, I'm gonna pick the Great Dane preset from Bob Rock's Hard Rock expansion. I make some adjustments to the preset and close EZDrummer. Now I'm gonna move all my Midi tracks to the EZDrummer track and combine them into a single track using the glue tool. I'm gonna activate 4 new outputs on the instrument track, open EZDrummer and route each instrument to its own output. I'm gonna delete the 4 Midi tracks and move the overhead track down to EZDrummer. Then I'm gonna create a new group and route all EZDrummer tracks and my overhead track to that group. Next I'm gonna put a reverb on the group track and listen to it to check if it sounds right. I'm also gonna put a reverb on the snare to make it sound bigger. With all that done, I take a listen with the backing track and make some adjustments if needed.
Liberty or doubt, what we so proudly hail. Once you provoke her, rattling of a tail. Never begins it, never but once engaged, never surrenders. Showing.
So that's basically all I do. The last step is just some light EQ tweaks, a compressor on the drum bus to glue it together, and some compression and saturation followed by a limiter on the master bus. I hope this explained everything well enough. If there's something else you wanna know, you can ask me in the comments and I'll try my best to give you an answer. If you wanna hear the final mix, you can check out the video by ChrisRC28 in the end card. So that's it. Thanks for watching and have a good one. Or how we say in Austria, vielen Dank!